This month we're in sunny Spain, where the world's top men's teams battle it out for the Champions Trophy. Next, it's a ride up to Amsterdam, where the best women's players in the world show us what they can do. We meet the most glamorous team in the world. Oh yes, by the way, it's also the best. Then it's time to make magic with the great Luciana Aymar. And finally, is women's hockey really a different ballgame? The Pakistan Hockey Federation has decided to replace Asif Bajwa with former Olympian Shahnaz Sheikh as coach of the national hockey team. Bajwa was under fire from all quarters following a dismal performance of the Pakistan team at the Champions Trophy in Spain. One of the most experienced Pakistani players, Mudassar Ali, will be out of action for 6 months due to an injured knee. This will be a big setback for Pakistan's World Cup campaign, as Mudassar, along with Rehan Butt and Shakil Abbasi, make a deadly strike force. Australia coach Barry Dancer has kept faith with the team that finished 4th in the Sahara Champions Trophy in Spain by retaining the same squad for the World Cup. The tournament is the only major title to elude the current crop of kookaburras. When it's summer in Europe, where better to be than beautiful Barcelona? It's not just the hottest destination on the continent, it's also the first stop on this month's edition of World Hockey, as we zoom in on Terrassa, a little town just outside the Catalan capital. The Athletic Terrassa Hockey Club was the venue for the Sahara Men's Champions Trophy, an elite event featuring the top 6 teams in the world. And everyone was keen to impress, not least Athletic's very own Santi Freixa. And as Spain sizzled in an unprecedented heatwave, so did the teams on the field. The event provided a lot of food for thought for all concerned, with the World Cup just around the corner. So this is what the points table looked like with just a round to go. With both Pakistan and Argentina out of contention for a final berth, the last 2 preliminary matches, Australia versus Germany and Spain against the Netherlands, turned out to be virtual semi-finals. In a pulsating encounter, it was the Dutch who stamped their authority on the hosts with goals from Rob Reckers and Roderick Westhoff. But the Spaniards fought back through goals from Albert Sala, Santi Freixa and Paul Amat to lead 3-2. But the Dutchman hadn't finished yet.
Takema takes it on, shoots, goal for the Netherlands! Takema keeps his goal-scoring record in this tournament. He's getting solo, he's got 2 players to his right. Here's Reckers, he must score. He does score! And what a finish!
Australia went into the final preliminary game against Germany, needing only a draw to enter the final. After the teams traded a goal each, Christopher Zeller's brilliance made it 2-1 for Germany, only to be neutralised by Troy Elder's twin strikes, which gave the Aussie hitman a hat-trick. With only seconds to go, Australia seemed all set for the final.
Germany edging forward, but the clock's going to beat them. It's got to get into that circle very quickly. There's the shot going in. Did it come off a foot? And indeed it did, and we've got an overtime penalty corner here. Well, this tournament has had so many late goals. Is it going to produce another one here? Let me just remind you of the situation. It's 3-3. The final hooter has sounded, but we're going to have to play this corner out. And Germany, if they can score this, they're in the final tomorrow. And Australia will be playing for bronze. Here's the shot going in. Oh, it's a beauty! And it's gone straight into the back of the net. and Australia are desolate.
So Germany clawing back from the death to make the final against old rivals the Netherlands. Spain took on Australia for the bronze, while the basement battle pitted Pakistan against Argentina. Spain and Australia played out a 2-all draw in the bronze medal game. It was still a draw after extra time and 4-all in the shootout. Australian hopes rested on Luke Donner.
Oh, against the post. Ribas against Molam, and Ribas scores, and it's bronze for Spain.
So it was all down to the big one as the Netherlands and Germany wrote another chapter in one of world hockey's greatest rivalries.
Delmay drills it in, and it came off the German foot, and it's a penalty corner. Takima shot! Goal! Takima found the power to beat Shelton. Weissenborn turns into Delmay. De Nooijer again. De Nooijer, still De Nooijer. Oh, what a super goal! Magnificent play there by De Nooijer. Move the time goal. Flicked in hard there by Timo Wess. A real captain's effort. And the Dutch have won this Sahara Champions Trophy.
A great win for the Dutch, but as always, coach Roland Altmans had the bigger picture in mind.
Let's be clear in one thing. We played a good tournament. I think we showed some good hockey, but I know that we have to improve our game in the next coming week to be in the final again at the World Cup.
So, victory at last for the Dutch in the Champions Trophy after 2 successive runner-up finishes. Our next stop is Amsterdam. The Dutch city has for centuries been one of the leading centres of sports and culture in Europe. So, fasten your seatbelt as we take a ride to the heart of the city. The vibrant Wagener Stadium, home of many Dutch hockey stars, played host to the elite Six Nation Rabo Champions Trophy. Each team plays against each other once before the top 2 contest the final. The hosts obviously started as crowd favourites and were looking for their 3rd straight Champions Trophy title. In the early action, they had to keep a close eye on China and Germany. It was captivating action both on and off the field as the teams battled it out for supremacy. Home fans hoping for a final celebration. Germany topped the points table after round 4, but 4 teams were still in contention for a place in the final, heading into the crucial last round matches. The super fit Chinese team staked their claim, scoring twice in the first half against New Zealand.
Now China coming again into the circle. Can they win something here? Ball played across, and it's finished in the back of the net. And that's the 3rd goal. Really a tap in the end by E. Ren. That's a clinical finish there, and a real rocket of a shot going in.
With China heading the table with 10 points, Germany had their task cut out against an Australian team who were only playing for pride after some dismal early performances. After Karen Smith's opening goal, the Aussies still pressed ahead.
Good shot, it is right in the corner, and Australia are home and dry surely here.
Needing a win to book a place in the final, the Dutch had to overcome a 2-goal deficit against Argentina.
And pushed over the line, and for Holland there by their skipper. Real pace about this attack. Ellenhogen to the circle, more than a half-turn, yes, it's gone in, and the persistence there of Kim Lammers pays off. Garcia could finish it here with a shot. Oh, it's a wonderful goal. A wonderful goal, and with it, the Dutch dream of gold here for a third consecutive Champions Trophy disappears.
So the last-minute Argentine strike meant China topped the table on 10 points, setting up the title clash with Germany. Argentina and the Netherlands taking on each other again for the bronze medal. The repeat clash went into penalty stroke drama after both teams failed to break the deadlock. With none of the Argentines except Luciana Aymar scoring from the spot, it was up to Minky Boy to seal victory for the hosts.
And safe as houses, Minky Boy wins it for the Netherlands. They take the bronze medals from this Rabo Champions Trophy. Disappointment for Argentina.
China versus Germany, not the teams people bet on to play the gold medal match, but it had been a triumph of fitness and tactical acumen with the Chinese team starting favourites.
This is Bao Rongfu, lovely ball in. This is Li, she can score here, and Li does score here. And China take the lead with a well-executed goal. There was a steal, a turnover in the middle of the pitch, and China took full advantage and a good finish. Great effort, oh, wonderful goal. It was a quickly taken free hit, and it was slapped sideways. Here's Ibama, oh, wonderful goal. Wonderful goal. Well, whatever was said there on the bench, they got it absolutely right. It was a double slip left, and Ibama was there. Now Keller, oh, she scored again, and Germany for the second time in the match comes straight back at China, just proving they cannot hang on to the lead. I'm sure this is going to be the last play of normal time. And a shot, oh, it's gone in! That is the golden goal. Germany has won the Rabo Champions Trophy with that brilliantly executed corner goal scored by Fanny Rinner.
Disappointment for the Chinese girls, joy for German coach Markus Weiser and his wards.
It's definitely a boost for our self-confidence, absolutely. And but still, there's a lot of work to do, and we have to improve. And I think for us it was just a great tournament. Every tournament situation is different. For us, it went fine.
Next up for the Olympic champions is the World Cup in September. Time for a short break now, but in part 2 it's a date with the glamour girls. And make magic with the best player in the world. Don't go away. Despite finishing 4th in the Sahara Champions Trophy, Australia remained top of the Sahara World Hockey Team rankings, just ahead of the Champions Trophy winners, the Netherlands, by 57 points. Germany, who are getting ready to host the World Cup, are 3rd. A bronze medal in the Champions Trophy at home helps Spain remain 4th. Pakistan hold on to their 5th spot ahead of India, who finished 3rd in the Aslan Shah Cup. Argentina move up 2 places to 7th, while Korea drop down 1 place and are 8th. New Zealand, who won the World Cup qualifiers, retain their 9th place. South Africa completes the top 10. In the women's Sahara World Hockey Team rankings, Netherlands maintain their top spot after a bronze medal in the Rabo Champions Trophy. Argentina hold on to 2nd place despite finishing 4th at Amstelveen. Eventual winners Germany moved to 3rd position, replacing Australia, who recorded their worst performance in the Elite 16 event. China's silver medal sees them close in on Australia by 51 points. New Zealand hold on to 6th position. Korea are in 7th spot, followed by Japan just 95 behind. England, the World Cup qualifiers winners, take 9th place, and Spain rounds up the top 10. It took a little trip down to the tiny village of Laren to get a behind-the-scenes look at the best women's team in the world, the Netherlands, who, despite finishing only 3rd in the Champions Trophy, remain nearly 100 points ahead of their closest rivals, Argentina, in the world rankings. Having finished 2nd in both the World Cup 4 years ago and the Athens Olympics, along with winning 2 of the last 3 Champions Trophy tournaments, the Dutch, despite having undergone several changes of personnel, can justifiably claim to have the most consistent results in the women's game. A major share of the credit for that should go to long-standing coach Mark Lammers.
Every tournament I'm going with some other players and to try to give them experience, and some of the girls will leave at home, and that's important because that's the only way you get improvement of young players. And sometimes you have to say, for example, for a Champions Trophy or for a tournament in Australia or in Argentina, I have to say, well, I leave 5, 6 experienced players at home and I take 5 new ones. And maybe you're losing the game, but you're improving for the future. And those are investments you have to make, like a coach in international hockey. If you don't do that, then it's really difficult to get new players.
Another reason for the team's success is the strength of the Dutch club system, which draws the best players from all around the world. And Lammers is closely involved with the overall direction and programs of the various clubs.
The nice thing in Holland is the country is really small. So many times me and Ronald Oldmans, we are going through the country, and we give some seminars and some training sessions. And we show all the club coaches that the new skills and the new tactics in international hockey. The other thing is that once in a month we are coming together with all the club coaches of the highest division. We are coming together and we show the new development of hockey. The things I'm doing, the things they are doing, and to get the overlap for those players, because they're training 5 times a week with me and they train 3 times with the club. So it's important to know from each other what we are doing.
The team is a close-knit unit, led by one of the world's best defenders, Minky Boy. It's a great mix of youth and experience, and when in full flow, the Dutch can orchestrate some magnificent moves.
Well, we try to be really fit and we work really hard in training. We try to have a strict organization in our defense play. We try to have a good, quick passing game, and our midfield they have just beautiful technical skills. And in our forward line, we try to be really creative and have a fast attack, so to score a lot of goals and get a lot of penalty corners.
Yeah, the Dutch, they're always going from strength to strength and seem to have a great depth amongst the juniors coming through, and it's always great to play them. It's very aggressive, very competitive. It's actually quite enjoyable to play those guys.
These girls are superstars in Holland, and the crowds turn up in numbers to watch them in action. And their popularity is not just to do with their hockey skills. They're a stunningly good-looking bunch, and they bring a dash of glamour to the game.
Every day there's coming more attention to the girls, because of course they are not only good players, they're also nice girls to see and nice girls to talk. So you see a lot of attention to the girls, and that's okay, that's good. Hockey is become bigger in Holland and it's become famous, and wow, we are happy with those things, and the girls are really smart with it, and they use those things for themselves, also for the future, but also for the hockey, to promote hockey.
Known as the magician in her native Argentina, Luciana Aymar is the face of world women's hockey. Named the FIH World Player of the Year 3 times already, the girl from Rosario is arguably the greatest player of all time. And she's the major reason why the South Americans have emerged as a superpower on the world stage.
She's an athlete. I mean, that's the key thing. She's a really good athlete. And you get the feeling whichever game she had decided to play, and thank goodness it was hockey, she'd have been outstanding. She floats a bit like Shabazz used to float for Pakistan in recent times. And she's got that quality about her. And when she picks the ball up, people stop. You can hear a hush go over even a packed stadium.
But blessed with superb skills and great speed, the 29-year-old evokes awe and admiration from teammates and opponents alike.
Oh, look, anyone who watches her play would know she carries the ball on a string. She can mesmerise you without even, meaning to. I think she's just a phenomenally natural, talented player, and I think the RGs look great when she's carrying the ball. She opens up teams, and she's a pleasure to watch. Not so good to play against, but certainly a pleasure to watch.
What makes her even more of a threat to opposing teams is her newfound success at penalty corners, something she's been working hard at in recent times. But of course, it's for her midfield magic that she's best known. Teasing and tantalising defences is what gives her the most pleasure.
I enjoy very much all the games. For me, it's a pleasure to play, because I think the more important is to fun in the field, and I like to run. I like to have the ball maybe a lot of time all the game. So I am this player, and because of my coach.
The Latin flair ingrained into her at an early age has made her the darling of crowds all around the world. But her individualistic play has a few critics as well.
She's always responsible for very attractive actions on the field. As a coach, I would have to think if I'd be happy every time with her.
Most others, however, beg to differ.
Trust me, I'll have her any time she would like to come.
Here, once again, Denoya picking up speed. Could this be the fourth one? Yes! It's 4-0 for Holland.
Any hockey pundit worth his salt will tell you that men's and women's hockey are two entirely different ball games. Speed and power are crucial in the men's game. Women's hockey is slower, more measured. And as it increases in popularity, it's fast ceasing to be the poor relation to the men's game. With the top-class coaches like Australia's Frank Murray turning their attention to coaching women, the skill level has improved tremendously in the past few years.
You've got to allow for the fact that the women simply are not as physically strong, but they're just as keen, they're just as professional in the way they approach their work. And a lot of the things are transferable from the men to the women. I mean, it's the same sort of skill level you're trying to get to within the parameters that obviously are gender specific.
The lack of power in the women's game is no disadvantage. In fact, it probably leads to more cerebral hockey.
I think the tactical way of hockey is nicer in the women's hockey, because you can do more tactical systems. In the men's hockey, mostly it's not possible, because you get the high flicks and you get hard passing, hard hitting. So that's difficult. That's why I think it's important for the girls to study the hockey tactics.
The other major difference lies in penalty corners. While the likes of Sohail Abbas and Taiki Taikema decide the fate of most men's games, in the women's game, things are a little bit different.
Every single men's team has a very good flicker, who's really a threat to the goal. So the better your shot is, the better your set pieces are. But in women's hockey, usually you don't have outstanding flickers. So in women's hockey, it was always the way they try out more things. Also the shot, if you just hit the ball, not as good as in the men's teams. So you have to rely on set pieces. It's also more creative.
And while the men's game is now dominated by the Big Four, Australia, the Netherlands, Spain and Germany, women's hockey is not quite as straightforward.
The good thing about the women's game at the moment is that it's also spread across the continents, because Asia, with Korea, Japan, China and India in the Asian continent doing well. You've got the European teams obviously doing well. You've got the Oceania teams. Yet you've got Argentina and the US now back in the group from the Americas. And so to have a sport that's spread around the world, I think is very important for our sport if we want to maintain something like Olympic status.
Before we go, let's take a look at the calendar. In September, the BDO Men's World Cup will be played in Mönchengladbach, where hosts Germany will set out to defend their title. But this will be followed by the Samsung Women's World Cup in Madrid, where Luciana Aymar will hope to lead Argentina to victory once again. The US women host Argentina, Australia and Netherlands in Virginia Beach in a two-leg invitational tournament. And Germany will host the Netherlands, Spain and Pakistan in late August for an invitational men's tournament as part of the preparation for the World Cup.